Hello students, today we are going to discuss a very important topic which is known as a buffer solutions. Okay, so in the last class we completed the salt hydrolysis, different types of salt hydrolysis, and what is the aqueous nature of the salt hydrolysis solution, and what is the pH of the aqueous solution during the salt hydrolysis. All these things we completed. Now in this today's lecture we are very much interested in a very new topic, that is the buffer solutions. Now this is a very important topic regarding the IIT point of view, even NEET point of view also. This topic is very important, that is the buffer solution. Now here in salt hydrolysis, what is the definition of a neutralization? When acid combine with a base to form salt and water, that is called neutralization. Yes or no? In this neutralization, if the acid and base both are in equal amount, that means in the same amount, nothing but the equivalent amount, then both acid and base completely consume because they are limiting reagents, and both are completely consumed and to give the salt. So the pH of the solution can be determined with the help of the salt hydrolysis, which we covered in the last lecture. Okay, now let's suppose if the acid base reacted in unequal amount, then what happens? Any one of the component will be left and salt will be formed. Are you getting my point? Let's suppose if a weak acid or weak base is remaining in the solution, along with its conjugate counterpart, that is the salt. Such type of a solution is called a buffer solution. Once again, what I am saying, let's suppose by taking one example I will explain. We have one weak acid and it is treated with whom? Strong base. We know acid combined with base to form salt and water. Now here condition should be the weak acid and strong base must be in unequal amount. And one more important thing, the weak acid must be always excess of reagent and strong base must be always limiting reagent. So base will be completely consumed and in the solution weak acid will be left and along with its salt. Such mixture is called buffer solution. Such mixture is called what? Buffer solution. If weak acid is present in excess amount, that is called acidic buffer. Okay, and similarly, let's suppose we have one weak base and it is treated with a strong acid. Again we have salt plus water. In this reaction, weak base once again excess and strong acid will be the limiting reagent. That means the strong acid completely consumes and weak base will be left along with its salt. Such mixture is known as a again buffer. Here the weak base will be excess, that's why it is called what? Basic buffer. If weak acid is excess along with its salt with strong base, that is called acidic buffer. Okay, if weak base is excess along with salt with strong acid, such mixture is called basic buffer. Are you getting my point? Now let's suppose we have 1 liter of a pure water. What is the pH of a 1 liter of a pure water at room temperature? That is the 7, we know. Okay, because at room temperature the H plus ion concentration will be equal to the hydroxide ion concentration will be equal to the 10 to the power minus 7 molar at room temperature. From here we can find the pH of a pure water, that is the 7. Let's suppose to this 1 liter pure water, what I am doing, I am adding 0.365 grams of a hydrochloric acid. Then we have to find the change in the pH. The question is find the change in the pH. Are you getting my point? The question is clear. What I am doing here, I am adding 0.365 grams of a hydrochloric acid to the 1 liter of a pure water at room temperature. My question is change in the pH. Find the change in the pH. Now here HCl is a strong acid, so we have to calculate the H plus ion concentration that is coming from strong acid, indirectly molarity. Given mass upon molar mass into 1 by volume in liter. Given mass 0.365 grams. And what is the molar mass of HCl? 36.5 and volume of the solution 1 liter. So we are getting the 10 to the power minus 2. What is the concentration of H plus ions in aqueous medium 10 raised to minus 2. From here, what is the pH of the solution? 2. But initially, what is the pH of the pure water? 7. Now the pH of the solution is 2. How many units the pH value decreases? 5 units. The pH value decreases. There is a change in the pH value. Are you getting my point? That is pH value decreases. Let's suppose to the same 1 liter of a pure water, now what I am doing, I am adding 0.4 grams of a caustic soda, that is the NaOH. Then what happens? Here NaOH is a base. Yes or no? When base is added, then what happens? The OH minus ion concentrations increases. Indirectly H plus ion concentration decreases and pH must be increased. Or yes or no? Now for such purpose, first of all, we have to calculate the hydroxide ion concentration that is coming from the strong base, that is the NaOH. Again, we have to find the molarity. Given mass 0.4 by molar mass 40. So we will get the number of mole 0.01 divided by 1 liter solution. So again, we have the 10 to the power minus 2 molar. Now in this case, we have OH minus ion concentration. So that's why we are calculating the pOH. After getting the pOH, we know the sum of the pH plus pOH will be equal to 14 at room temperature. According to this equation, we can find the pH, that is the 14 minus 2, that is the 12. Actually, what is the initial pH of the water, pure water at room temperature? 7. Now we have how much? 12. What is the difference here? 5. So here, when acid or a base is added to a pure water, definitely the pH of a solution, what happens? Increases. If acid is, pH of a solution changes, not increases. Here the pH of a solution changes. That the change may be increase or decrease. If acid is added, the pH will be decreased. If the base is added, the pH will be increases. Okay. Now here, let's suppose we have pure water. Even pure water, if it is present in the open container also, the pH of a solution decreases because less than 7. Why? Because the CO2 gas present in the atmospheric air is absorbed by the water molecule and it will form the carbonic acid. Carbonic acid being a weak acid which produces H plus ion concentration or which produces H plus ions, due to which the H plus ion concentration increases and pH value decreases. Here H2O combining with water to give carbonic acid. Carbonic acid decomposes or it is undergo ionization, give H plus ions and bicarbonate, and again bicarbonate undergo ionization, give H plus ions and carbonate ions. Are you getting my point? Now finally what I mean to say here, when we are adding acid or a base to a pure water, definitely the pH value changes. Yes or no? Now the question is, now in most of the industrial processes, in biological processes, enzymatic reactions, the pH of a solution should be kept constant. Now how it is possible to control the pH of a solution? That means we should not change the pH of a solution. Best example, in human body, the blood is a important buffer solution. So the pH of a blood will be 7.36 to 7.42. So the various biological reactions occurring in the human body will be controlled under a suitable pH only. Okay. Now to keep the pH value constant, we require some suitable solution. That solution is indirectly known as a buffer solution. Indirectly known as a what? Buffer solution. Now the definition of a buffer solution: a solution whose pH do not change on addition of a small amount of a acid or a base, even by dilution. Remember, small amount of a acid or base must be added. Now the pH value does not change, or if the pH value slightly changes, but this slightly change is practically what? Neglected. Practically the value will be neglected. Suppose if you add large amount of acid or base, then obviously what happens? pH definitely changes. But the definition of a buffer solution is a solution whose pH do not change on addition of a small amount of a acid or base, or even by dilution. Are you getting my point? Now in this buffer solution, what happens? Two components will be present. one component will act as a acid part and other component will act as a basic part. Are you getting my point? Now, what are the characteristics of a buffer solution? As per statement, it has a constant pH value. Yes or no? Yes. Number one. Number two, the pH of the solution do not change, or just now I told you slightly change, and practically it is negligible by addition of what? Acid and base in small quantity. Okay. Next, pH of a solution do not changes by dilution. And one more important thing, on long standing the pH of a solution do not changes. These are the characteristics of the buffer solution. Number one, it has a constant pH value and pH does not change or slightly change or practically negligible change by addition of a small amount of acid or base. And next, pH does not change on dilution and pH does not change on standing for long time. Okay. Now, the next condition for the buffer range. These are some terminology we have to know in the buffer solutions. Now, what is the definition of a buffer range? It is a range of a buffer solution over which it is effectively function. That means, what is the meaning of effective function? Means to resist the change in the pH, to stop the change in the pH. That is the function of the buffer. In which range a buffer can act as a good buffer or effective buffer to stop the change in the pH. That range is called buffer range. Every buffer has a particular range in which only it is effectively function. That range is called what? Buffer range. Okay. Now, next definition, what is the buffer action? Buffer action. That means the action of a buffer solution on the addition of a small amount of acid or base by which it resists the change in the pH. Just now I told you the phenomena. Just now I told you the definition of a buffer. It is a solution whose pH do not change, okay, or the solution whose pH do not change by addition of a small amount of a acid or a base or by dilution is called buffer solution, and this action, this phenomena is called buffer action. Okay. Now, the most important thing is the classification of buffer solutions. Now, here there are two types of the buffer solutions. Number one, simple buffer solution. Number two, mixed buffer solution. Simple buffer and mixed buffer. In the simple buffer, nothing but a salt of a weak acid and weak base. The salt of a weak acid, weak base can act as a buffer solution, but it containing only one component. In this component, what happens? In this one component, again there are two parts, acidic part as well as basic part. Example, we have the best example of salt of weak acid, weak base, that is the ammonium acetate. Okay. In this, what happens? The ammonium and acetate, this ammonium cation, this acetate is the anion. Are you getting my point? Now, here this acetate ion is a conjugate base of acetic acid, okay, and ammonium ion is a conjugate cation of ammonia or ammonium hydroxide. Are you getting my point? Now, here the second category of the buffer, mixed buffer. And one more important thing, we know how to calculate the pH of the salt of a mixture of a weak acid, weak base. What is the pH formula? What is the pH formula to calculate the salt solution of a weak acid and weak base? pH is equal to half into pKw plus pKa minus pKb. This is the pH of the simple buffer, that is the ammonium acetate. And one more example we written here, ammonium cyanide, the mixture of weak acid and weak base salt. Are you getting my point? Now, the second category, mixed buffer, it containing the two components. in which one component will be the acidic part and other component will be the basic part. Okay, now here mixed buffer solutions again classified into two types. Number one, acidic buffer. Number two, basic buffer. Just now I told you in the beginning what is the definition of a acidic buffer. Acidic buffer is a mixture of a weak acid and its a salt, that is the conjugate base. Salt nothing but what? Conjugate base. Okay, now what is the basic buffer definition? It is a mixture of weak base and its salt nothing but conjugate acid. That means weak acid plus its conjugate base is called acidic buffer, and weak base plus its conjugate acid is called what? Basic buffer. So there are two types of mixed buffers. Number one, acidic buffer. Number two, basic buffer. Now what is the definition of a acidic buffer? It is a mixture of weak acid and its salt, nothing but conjugate base. And it is a mixture of, indirectly it is a mixture of weak acid and its conjugate base. Salt nothing but conjugate base. Are you getting my point? It is a mixture of weak acid and its salt with strong base, or indirectly it is a mixture of weak acid and its conjugate base. And similarly basic buffer, it is a weak base and its salt with whom? Strong acid. Okay. Now indirectly weak base plus its conjugate acid act as a basic buffer. Now do you know the best example for the weak acid? That is called acetic acid. Okay. And it's a salt with whom? Strong base, such as sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide. We are taking the sodium acetate. Instead of sodium, you can take the potassium, you can take the calcium ions, you can take the barium ions. That means calcium acetate, barium acetate, potassium acetate along with acetic acid is a good buffer, that is the acidic buffer. And the next example, we have the formic acid and sodium formate. Otherwise you can take the potassium formate, otherwise you can take the calcium formate, otherwise you can take the barium formate, etc. Okay. And one more example, benzoic acid. Do you know in organic chemistry benzoic acid is a weak acid as compared to the mineral acids. Okay. Now sodium benzoate or potassium benzoate. Okay. Now the next example, we have boric acid H3BO3 and borax Na2B4O7. Hydrogen sulfide, sodium hydrogen sulfide, sodium hydrogen sulfide plus sodium sulfide. Now phosphoric acid H3PO4, okay, plus H2PO4 minus, H2PO4 minus plus HPO4 minus 2, and next to HPO4 minus 2, PO4 minus 3. Are you getting my point? Now here remember the acid and its conjugate base must be differ by one proton. Okay. Now here we have phosphoric acid. Do you know phosphoric acid is a tribasic acid? Yes. When it loses one proton, what is the conjugate base of phosphoric acid? H2PO4 minus. Now to counterbalance the negative charge, there is a one positive charge, that is the sodium or potassium. So for temporary I am removing the sodium ions, only I am discussing the anion part only. Okay. Now this is the buffer solution. Now next to H2PO4, do you know this is a amphoteric species? Okay. Now it loses proton to give HPO4 minus 2. It is also buffer solution. And do you know HPO4 minus 2 is again amphoteric species. So finally when it loses the proton, it will give phosphate ions. So there are three different types of buffer solutions regarding the phosphoric acid. Remember how many number of acidic hydrogens will be present. How many number of acidic hydrogens will be present? That will be equal to the number of buffer solution. Here you see hydrogen sulfide is a weak acid, diprotic acid. It gives 2 protons. That's why we have 2 buffer solutions, 5 and 6. In case of phosphoric acid, we have 3 buffer solutions, 7, 8 and 9. Are you getting my point? Now come to basic buffer examples. Do you know ammonia or ammonium hydroxide is a weak base and it's salt with hydrochloric acid, that is the ammonium chloride. Even if you want to take the hydrogen bromide, HBr, hydrogen iodide, HI. If you take the nitric acid, ammonium nitrate. If you take the sulfuric acid, ammonium sulfate. All these are the example for basic buffer. Okay, magnesium hydroxide, magnesium chloride. This is a amine, methylamine. Are you getting my point? So amines are Lewis bases. Okay, when it accepts the one proton to give alkyl ammonium. Okay, methyl ammonium chloride. This is the salt. Okay, glycine, this is a amino acid, glycine plus glycine hydrogen chloride. This is also one example for basic buffer. Okay, now here just now I told you human blood is a good buffer and its pH ranging in between 7.36 to 7.42. This is a objective question. What is the pH of the blood? 7.36 to 7.42. Now here carbonic acid and bicarbonate is the buffer. Now here you see, let's suppose in human body, let's suppose H plus ion concentration increases. Then what happens? Now obviously the mixture of carbonic acid and bicarbonate is functioning as a good buffer and it maintains the pH of the blood. Let's suppose in the blood H plus ion concentration increases. The H plus ion concentration increase in the H plus ion concentration decreased by the bicarbonate and it will converted into carbonic acid. Are you getting my point? Let's suppose OH minus ion concentration in the blood increases. To counterbalance the OH minus ion concentration, the carbonic acid react with the excess of OH minus ions in the bloodstream to convert into bicarbonate. That means the carbonic acid and bicarbonate mixture is functioning as a good buffer in the bloodstream. Are you getting my point? Now here, this is a very important question. Which of the following will form acidic buffer? So this is a very important objective question. The first question, acetic acid and sodium hydroxide given 1:1 molar ratio. Now here, first of all, you write the reaction between acid and base. Acetic acid react with NaOH. Okay, it form sodium acetate and H2O. Yes or no? This is 1 mole given, this is 1 mole given. Initially there is no moles of salt. Now here 1:1 ratio they are reacting. Both are limiting reagents, both are completely consumed and 1 mole salt will be formed. So here there will be no any weak acid in the solution. That's why this is not a buffer. The first one is not a buffer. Are you getting my point? Now the second one. In the second one what happens? Acetic acid plus sodium hydroxide, but in the question it is given 2:1 molar ratio. This is 2 mole, this is 1 mole. Let's suppose again we are writing the equation, that is the sodium acetate and water. Okay, now here acetic acid NaOH will react in 1:1, that is 1:1 molar ratio. So NaOH completely consumes and acetic acid will be left 1 mole because 2 moles will be there and 1 mole will be reacting and 1 mole will be left. So 1 mole of a sodium acetate salt will be formed. Now in the mixture, finally what are present in the solution? We have 2 components in the solution. What are those? Acetic acid is present in the solution as well as its conjugate base acetate ions also present in the solution. That's why this mixture is called acidic buffer. So the second question will form acidic buffer. This will form what? Acidic buffer. Are you getting my point? Now come to question number 3. Come to question number 3 is now H2S and NaOH 1:1 ratio. H2S plus NaOH in 1:1 ratio, 1 mole 1 mole. Now here sodium hydrogen sulfide plus H2O. Initially there is no salt, so both are limiting reagents, both are consumed, only salt will be left. Okay, so here no buffer solution, so buffer is not formed. Now come to question number 4. here H2S NaOH in the 2:1 molar ratio, H2S NaOH in the 2:1 molar ratio, H2S plus NaOH in which ratio? 2:1 molar ratio. This is the 2 mole, this is the 1 mole. Again, first of all, I am writing the reaction. Remember, hydrogen sulfide is a diprotic acid. Still, it loses only one proton in each step. Are you getting my point? In ionic equilibrium, acid-base reactions always take place in 1:1 molar ratio only. Yes or no? Even though the acid or base, even though acid is polyprotic, it will loses only one proton in one step only. Okay. Now here what happens? NaOH completely consumed because limiting reagent. H2S 1 mole will be left and NaHS will be 1 mole form. Are you getting my point? Are you getting my point? That means finally in the mixture we have weak acid plus its conjugate base. That means this is a acidic buffer. So fourth one is a acidic buffer. This is the multiple choice. Okay, and one more option we have H2S and NaOH. Now here H2S plus NaOH gives again NaHS plus H2O. What is the moles ratio given? 2:3 molar ratio. 2:3 molar ratio. Okay. Now here this will be 2 moles, this will be 3 moles. Okay. So here 2 moles will be consumed. Out of 3 moles, 2 moles consume NaOH, 1 mole will be left. Here 2 moles of NaHS will form. Now in the second step what happens? The base will be left NaOH and salt will be left here. So salt will be formed, not left. Salt is forming NaHS and base will be left NaOH. Do you know HS minus is a amphoteric species? It can donate the proton or it can accept the proton also, because it is a anionic acidic hydrogen containing anion. Okay. Now in the next step what happens? HS will be present how many moles? 2 moles. NaOH will be present in 1 mole. So you will get Na2S plus H2O. Okay. Now initially there is no salt formation. NaOH will be completely consumed and NaHS will be left to 1 mole and Na2S will be formed 1 mole. That means in finally what we have? NaHS we have plus Na2S we have. That means it is also mixture of whom? Acidic buffer, because HS minus. And what is its conjugate base? S minus 2. Just now I told you acid plus its conjugate base. Weak acid plus its conjugate base is called acidic buffer. So question number 5 is also acidic buffer. This is a very important question. Are you getting my point? Now come to here, formation of a buffer solution. How the buffer solution will be formed? There are 2 different methods. Number 1, direct method is there. In this direct method we can add weak acid plus its conjugate base directly. Okay, acetic acid C1 moles per liter, sodium acetate C2 moles per liter. When these two are combining, then directly we can say it is a acidic buffer. It is what? Acidic buffer. Now there is a one indirect method is there, in which we can prepare the buffer solution indirectly. Let's suppose we are taking the weak acid and we are taking the strong base. Now the condition, weak acid must be excess of reagent and strong base must be limiting reagent, and finally in the mixture what will be left? Salt will be formed and weak acid will be left, and the mixture of weak acid and its salt with a strong base is called acidic buffer. Is called what? Acidic buffer. Let's suppose M1V1 molarity volume of the weak acid, M2V2 molarity volume of the strong base. Okay, strong base is a limiting reagent, so M2V2 millimoles will be consumed. How many millimoles of acid will be left? To M1V1 minus M2V2. How many millimoles of salt will be formed? M2V2. 1:1:1 ratio. Okay. Now what is the concentration of acid in the solution? M1V1 minus M2V2 by total volume. Volume is a additive property. And what is the concentration of the salt? M2V2 by V1 plus V2. Are you getting my point? The mixture of acetic acid and sodium acetate is called what? Acidic buffer. And similarly, Let's suppose we are taking the weak base NH4OH excess and we are treated with hydrochloric acid, which is a limiting reagent. Then what about the salt? Ammonium chloride will be formed, and which will be left here? Weak base will be left. Weak base along with its conjugate acid is referred as what? Basic buffer. Is referred as what? Basic buffer. Are you getting my point? Otherwise, there is a one more indirect method is there. Addition of salt of a weak acid and strong base. Excess and strong acid to give a acidic buffer. That means, let's suppose we have sodium acetate. This is the salt of weak acid strong base, and we are treating with a strong acid. Okay, now we will get which acid? Weak acid, that is the acetic acid. Now remember, sodium acetate is a salt of weak acid. Yes, we are treating with whom? Strong. We are treating sodium acetate is a salt of weak acid, acetic acid. Now which is treated with a strong acid, hydrochloric acid. So being a hydrochloric acid, strong acid, which decomposes the weak acid from its salt. So we are getting the acetic acid. Are you getting my point? So strong acid always favorable to give weak acid. This is the condition. The driving force will be strong acid to weak acid. Okay, now the salt will be excess and here acid will be formed. So again we have acidic buffer. And similarly, ammonium chloride, if you take in excess quantity and it is treated with NaOH. Do you know NaOH is a strong base? Ammonia is a weak base. So ammonium chloride is a salt of weak base and strong acid. That's why NaOH decomposes the ammonium chloride into ammonium hydroxide. Are you getting my point? So again we have the ammonium chloride salt and weak base in the solution, which is a mixture of basic buffer. This is very important. First of all, we have to identify whether the given solution is buffer or not. Otherwise we cannot know how to find the pH of the solution. Once we know if it is buffer solution, it is very easy to find the pH of the solution. Okay, now this is a directly question given in the JW point of view or NEET point of view. Directly one acid is given and its conjugate base will be given, or one base will be given, its conjugate acid will be given. Base and acid must be weak here. So directly we can put this concentration in the expression of pH and we can find the directly pH value. Otherwise, first of all, we have to prepare the buffer solution and after that only we have to find the pH of the solution. Okay, now this is a very important derivation of pH of the acidic buffer. Do you know acidic buffer containing two components? Number one, weak acid. Number two, it's a salt with a strong base. Do you know weak acid being a weak electrolyte, partial ionization takes place. Do you know all salts are strong electrolytes? They dissociated completely. Okay, now we have to calculate the pH of the solution. The pH of a solution is due to what? Is due to whom? H plus ions in the solution. Okay, now to calculate the H plus ion concentration, okay, we have to use the law of mass action, which is applicable for weak electrolytes. Here the weak acid Ka dissociation constant, here acetate ion concentration into H plus ion concentration by acetic acid concentration. From here, what is the H plus ion concentration here? Ka into acetic acid concentration by acetate ion concentration. Now on both sides we are doing? We are applying the logarithm on both sides. Okay, and after applying the logarithm we are applying the negative sign also on both sides. Okay, do you know log property? Log of A into B will be equal to what? Log A plus log B. So log of Ka into acetic acid concentration by acetate ion concentration, I am writing log of Ka plus log of acetic acid concentration by acetate ion concentration. So minus is there. Now do you know log of A by B will be equal to minus log of B by A. If you interchange the numerator denominator, there the sign will be changes. Now here acetic acid and acetate ions, what I am doing? Interchange, so bring the minus outside, minus of minus will get plus. Do you know pKa is equal to minus log Ka and pH is equal to minus log H plus. Are you getting my point? So instead of minus log of H plus, I am writing the pH. Instead of minus log Ka, I am writing the what? pKa. Are you getting my point? Now the important thing here, the acetate ion concentration is taken from salt concentration, because the acetate ion concentration is also coming from weak acid and also from strong electrolyte, that is the salt. Now here common ion effect is applicable, because in both the electrolytes acetate ion is common. Because of common ion effect, the ionization of a weak electrolyte further decreases, that is acetate ion concentration further decreases. Almost practically the ionization of acetic acid is negligible. Whatever the concentration of acetate ions are coming, so we can treat it from salt only, we can consider from salt only. Now the acetic acid concentration at equilibrium at initial condition, both the concentrations we will assume it to be same, because the ionization of acetic acid negligible quantity. Are you getting my point? So finally what I am writing here, the pH of a acidic buffer solution will be equal to pKa plus log of, in the numerator salt concentration, that is the conjugate base, and divided by acid concentration, divided by what? Acid concentration. This equation is known as a Henderson-Hasselbalch equation, and in NCERT it is simply given as a Henderson equation. In some textbooks it is simply given as a Henderson equation. Now the limitation of this equation, here if the salt concentration and acid concentration, if it is lie or equal to in between 0.1 to 10, then this expression is valid. Otherwise we have to see the salt hydrolysis concept. Okay, this is very important. This is only condition when we have to apply the pH calculation for buffer solution, is if the salt concentration by acid concentration will lie in between 0.1 to 10, then only this Henderson equation is valid. Okay, now come to the buffer range. Just now I told you every buffer has effective function in a suitable range. That range is called buffer range. Now there will be minimum pH and there will be maximum pH for a buffer solution. For minimum pH value we have to use the salt by acid concentration 1/10, and for maximum pH value we have to use the salt concentration by acid concentration is 10. So if we use the for minimum pH, so pH is equal to pKa minimum pH, log of minimum pH 1/10 concentration, 1/10 nothing but minus log 10 nothing but -1, so pKa -1. Okay, now for pH maximum, pKa plus log of 10/1, 10/1 means 10, log 10 means 1, so shall I write maximum pH is equal to pKa plus 1. That means minimum pH value pKa minus 1, maximum value pKa plus 1. So this is called buffer range, pH range of the buffer, that is the pKa plus or minus 1. Okay, for a best buffer, that means which can effectively function, for such purpose we use the condition the salt concentration upon acid concentration will be equimolar, that is 1:1 ratio. So pH is equal to pKa plus log of salt concentration by acid concentration equimolar, 1:1, log 1 0. So finally pH is equal to pKa. If the pH is equal to pKa, then the buffer is called good buffer or best buffer. Are you getting my point? Now working action of the acidic buffer. Let's suppose if you add some acid or base, even though the pH of the solution do not change, that is the definition of the acidic buffer. Are you getting my point? Or basic buffer. Now here let's suppose we are adding the H plus ions from strong acid. Now the H plus ions react with the acetate ions in the acidic buffer solution and they produce the undissociated acetic acid, or feebly ionized means very less ionizable acetic acid. So the H plus ions added react with acetate ions to form undissociated acetic acid. Okay, let's suppose if we add the OH minus ions which combine with the base, which combine with the acid, that is the acetic acid, to form the unionized water molecules. Water, the extent of ionization of water is very less. Okay, if you see this diagram, here we have three components, acetic acid is there and salt of sodium hydroxide, that is the sodium acetate salt we have. Okay, now in this sodium is a spectator. Let's suppose if I am adding the acid combined with whom? Base. What is the base here? Conjugate base, acetate ion. Acetate ions react with H plus ions to form acetic acid. Let's suppose if I am adding the base react with whom? Acid. Again it will form conjugate base. Are you getting my point? Suppose if you add the acid or if you add the base, then what happens? If you add the base combined with OH minus ions to form undissociated water. If you add the, just wait, if you add the base combined with acetic acid to form acetate ions and undissociated water molecule. If you add the acid which combined with acetate ions to form undissociated acetic acid or very less ionizable acetic acid. In these two cases, the OH minus ion concentration or H plus ion concentration almost change will be negligible. So there is no change in the pH, or change in the pH is very less or negligible. Are you getting me? Slightly change in the pH. Okay. Now here let's suppose acetic acid is there and sodium acetate is there. The concentrations I am taking C1 and C2 molar. Okay. Let's suppose I am adding the small amount of hydrochloric acid. How many moles I am adding? Small moles I am adding. So just now I told you strong acid decomposes the salt of weak acid. Okay. Now here strong acid is a limiting reagent. It is consumed. So how many moles of weak salt will be left? C2 minus A. And how many moles of acid will be formed? Already there are C1 moles of acid is there, and again small moles of acid is formed because of reaction of HCl with sodium acetate. So from this expression we can directly find the pH of the solution. Okay. Now in this expression, if you see C2 minus A, C1 plus A, numerator, denominator. So there is a slight change in the pH of the solution. In the numerator value C2 minus A, that's why the pH slightly decreases, but which is a negligible quantity. That's why there is no almost. So we can assume that there will be no change in the pH value. If you add small amount, remember small amount, that means the A value should be too small as compared to C2, and A value will be too small as compared to C1. Then only the change in pH will be almost negligible. Are you getting my point? Now similarly, instead of acid, if I am adding a base produces OH minus ions. Okay, so base combined with acid to form salt. Okay, initial number of moles of acid C1 and strong base small b, so strong base limiting reagent, so which will completely consumes, and the salt will be formed and weak acid will be left. Okay, from here also we can find the pH of the solution, but in this case the numerator value C2 plus B, that means the pH value slightly increases. Still this is not considered as a large or a big change, so the change will be negligible. Here also condition will be the B value will be too small as compared to C2, and B value will be too small as compared to C1. Okay, now here also the derivation for the basic pH of a basic buffer, it is a mirror image of the SD buffer. Here also ammonium hydroxide and ammonium chloride. Ammonium chloride is a strong electrolyte. Okay, it is completely ionizable, and weak electrolyte, that is a weak base, it is partially ionizable. So here we have to calculate the pH of the solution with respect to OH minus ion concentration. So we require one equation. So that equation can be derived from the Kb expression. From this Kb expression we can find the OH minus ion concentration. From the OH minus ion concentration finally we can find the POH. Okay, now here also we are applying the common ion effect. We are also applying here what? Common ion effect. What is the common ion here? Ammonium ion. In both the cases ammonium ion is common. In the presence of a NH4Cl, the ionization of ammonium hydroxide further decreases due to common ion effect. That's why whatever the concentration of ammonium ions, we are treated from the salt only. Are you getting my point? And the equilibrium concentration of ammonium hydroxide is considered as the initial concentration, because the ionization of ammonium hydroxide is almost negligible due to common ion effect. So this is the equation to calculate the pH of the solution, that is pOH of the solution. pOH is equal to what? pKb plus log of salt by base. Whereas in acidic buffer, what is the formula here? Acidic buffer, pH is equal to pKa plus log of salt concentration by acid concentration. This is corresponding to acidic buffer. Corresponding to what? Acidic buffer. And this is corresponding to what? Basic buffer. After getting the pOH, how to calculate the pH? 14 minus pOH at room temperature. This is also known as a Henderson-Hasselbalch equation. It is also applicable when the concentration of salt to the base lie in between 0.1 to 10. Here also there is a buffer range, minimum pOH. Salt concentration to that of the base concentration should be 0.1 molar, 0.1. For maximum pOH, salt concentration to the base concentration should be 10. So here pOH is equal to pKb minus 1. Here maximum pOH is equal to pKb plus 1. And what is the pH range of pOH range of a base buffer? pKb plus or minus 1. Okay. Now just like working principle of acidic buffer, here also working principle of the basic buffer. Let's suppose in the basic buffer, best example ammonium hydroxide and ammonium chloride. This is the best example for the basic buffer. Here the ammonium cation is there. Okay, it can act as a acid, and ammonium hydroxide, it is a base. So whenever you are adding the acid neutralized by the base, that means the acid H plus ions added, which will combine with ammonium hydroxide to form undissociated water. If you add the base OH minus ions which combine with acid part, that is the ammonium cation, to form undissociated ammonium hydroxide. So this is a flow diagram, chart diagram. In this, what happens if you add the H plus ions combine with whom? Base. What is the base here? Ammonium hydroxide to form ammonium ion. Let's suppose if I am adding the OH minus ions are base. So what is the acidic portion in the basic buffer? Ammonium. So ammonium cation is acidic, that's why it's combined with OH minus ions. Are you getting my point? Now here also if you add the small amount of strong acid or strong base, definitely the pH value changes, but the change will be slightly changed. The change will be almost practically what we consider negligible. Okay, so this is the pOH value, that is the pKb plus log of C2 plus A by C1 minus A. Suppose if you add the acid or base, even though there is a slight change in the pH, okay, small amount of acid or base, so the slightly change in the pH is almost negligible. Here also the condition will be C2 too small as B will be too small as compared to C2, and B will be too small as compared to C1. Here also A will be too small as compared to C2, and A will be too small as compared to C1. Then the change in pH value what? Negligible. Okay. Now this is a very important concept, that is the buffer capacity. Suppose when a small amount of a strong acid, strong base is added, definitely there is no change in the pH or slightly change in the pH. The change in the pH value negligible. Suppose if we add a large number of moles of acid or base, then what happens? Definitely the pH value what happens? Changes. Okay. Now the buffer capacity, it is the number of moles of acid or base which is added to the 1 liter buffer solution in order to change its pH value by 1 unit. That means how many number of moles of acid or base added to the 1 liter buffer in order to change its pH value by 1 unit. Okay, now how many moles of acid base if added to 1 liter buffer, so that the pH value change is 1 unit. So in the numerator what I am writing? Number of moles of acid or base added to 1 liter buffer, divided by, in the denominator what I am writing? Change in the pH value. This is called phi. This is called what? Phi. Are you getting my point? Now the buffer capacity phi is equal to change in the pH in the denominator, and number of moles of acid or base, that is the amount of acid base added in the numerator. And there is a one more important formula, phi is equal to 2.303 A into B divided by A plus B. This is also one of the important equation to calculate the buffer capacity. What is the delta X? The amount of acid or base added. What is the delta dpH, change in the pH? What is the small a? Concentration of a weak acid or a weak base. And what is the B? Concentration of the salt. Okay. Now here, if the change in the pH value will be very less, then the phi value very high. That means the maximum phi value or minimum change in the pH of the solution corresponding to the best buffer. Just now I told you, for a HD buffer, the buffer capacity should be maximum. In order to maximize the buffer capacity, the pH of acidic buffer must be equal to whom? pKa. When pH equal to pK, then salt concentration and acid concentration should be 1:1 molar ratio. Similarly, in case of a basic buffer, the pOH value should be equal to whom? pKb. That means the concentration of salt and base must be equal, then only pOH will be equal to pKb, because pH is equal to what? pKa plus log of salt concentration by acid concentration. If both are equal to 1:1, then log 1 0, then pH will be equal to whom? pKa. Similarly, pOH is equal to pKb plus log of salt concentration by base concentration. Here also, if we take 1:1 molar ratio, so log 1 gets 0, log 1 becomes 0, so pOH is equal to pKb. Okay. And one more important topic in this buffer solutions, we have the applications of the buffer solutions. Now just now I told you in the beginning, the blood is a good buffer solution. Okay. Now the proper maintenance of the carbonic acid and bicarbonate concentration, these concentrations are maintained by the blood. Okay. Now it is also used, the buffer solutions also used for the softening of the hot water and biochemical reactions to control the pH in the chemical analysis. In the beginning I told you, industrial synthesis and enzymatic reactions, the pH must be kept constant. For such purpose we require buffer solutions. Now already I told you the pH of a blood will be 7.36 to 7.42, which is maintained by bicarbonate and carbonic acid. Okay. Now sodium benzoate C6H5COONa, benzoic acid and sodium benzoate, this is a acidic buffer. Okay. So this will be preserve the germs and jellies by maintaining the definite pH value. Okay. And ammonium hydroxide and ammonium chloride, do you know, this is a basic buffer used for the analysis of cations such as aluminum ion, chromium ion, iron +3 ions in third group of the qualitative analysis, which we will discuss in the inorganic chemistry. Okay. So